Hi everyone, and welcome to Studio Jake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I'm doing something a little bit differently. Normally on this channel, I primarily talk about pop culture stuff like anime, television, film, novels, music even sometimes. But there is one pocket of it that I don't really talk about, and that is gaming. And there is a reason for that. I am not what you would call a professional gamer. I'm more of a casual gamer. Sean from Actual Justice Warrior actually says, he's a try hard, not a die hard. That's how I am with gaming. I love gaming, but I see it more as a hobby, something I do to relax. I'm not like into gaming and gaming culture. I think it's cool though. It's very comparative to comic book and even anime culture as far as the fans. Sometimes it can get a little crazy. And so I just wanted to set that up. So a friend of mine who goes by Scratimus on Instagram, he sent me Mass Effect Legendary Edition and requested that I review each one of the games, because Mass Effect Legendary Edition, it comes with the first, second, and third video games and some of the DLCs. Now, I'm not going to review the DLCs. I'm going to keep this focused on the main video game. So this is a three-part series. I just finished Mass Effect 1. Now, again, I want to emphasize, I am a total normie. I'm not going to pull a Kevin Smith on you and act like I knew about it like way in advance, and now I'm going to give you my bright wisdom and all of this. I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm totally against that kind of bull malarkey. So I'm going into this telling you I'm not familiar with Mass Effect other than what I've played. I don't know a lot about the lore, so forgive me. I'm just strictly playing the game in sort of a fun, casual manner like I usually do, and I'm doing this review because Scratimus, like I said, he's a friend of mine, he's a friend of the channel, and he's also one of my biggest watchers. So when one of my watchers says, hey, I'd like you to review something, I want to give it a try. Sometimes I'll turn things down just because of my own limitations, but Mass Effect, I thought I'd give it a try. Why not? So I'm going to review it in sort of my normie way based on three things. So the characters and the story arc, the mechanics, and just sort of overall thoughts toward the end, which will focus primarily on animation and gameplay. So as far as stories go, I actually really enjoyed it. It's, for those of you unfamiliar with Mass Effect, I can't show clips because I'm a small channel, and anytime I do something that involves clips, I get copyright struck because YouTube hates small creators like me. So I'm not going to show you any clips, but basically Mass Effect, you can create your own avatar whose name is Shepard. Whether you play as a man or a woman, you can design their facial features later on. You can get them new uniforms, new gun types, things like that. So it takes place way in the future, and humanity is about to join this alliance of other alien races, and a lot of the other races are kind of resentful of the humans because they feel like the Alliance Council is giving the humans too much leeway, because normally it would take a century for a particular species to join. They have to go through all these hoops, but they're kind of fast-tracking the humans because humanity's lifespans are so much shorter. So Shepard, he's a war hero. He was involved on this incident. I'm saying he because I played a male avatar, so no shade if you play a female avatar, no shade whatsoever. It's just I played the male avatar. That's why I am saying he or him or whatever. I don't care about pronouns, but in this case I played a male character. So anyway, as Commander Shepard, he is up to be what's called a Spectre, and it's kind of like a special agent in the Alliance. And a lot of aliens are resistant to this because it's the first time ever. Well, this member of an alien species, sorry, I'm also looking at my notes, he's what's called a Turian. They're kind of cool, actually. They've got really neat armor. They kind of have dragon faces. Shepard goes to this planet, and it's under attack. It's got a human colony, and Saren is there, and he's trying to access this device called a beacon, and he activates it, and Shepard gets exposed to it, and he sees this vision of these mechanical beings called the Reapers, and they're coming back to the Milky Way galaxy. Apparently they were there ages ago, but they were banished into deep space, but they want to come back to the Milky Way and get revenge. So then you go through all these hoops. You're partnered with this other human to start, named Ashley, and then I think the other one's name is Caden. But you can recruit other people to be a part. So I recruited Garrus, who is also a Tyrian, and he wants to stop Saren because he thinks that Saren is disgracing his race. You recruit a member of a race called the Krogans. They're kind of like these giant lizard type aliens, and his name is Rex. You can recruit a being called oh my gosh, now I'm totally gonna forget, Aquarian named Tali. Now I mainly played with Garrus and Tali. Sometimes I would swap out Rex with Garrus, and you're going along, you're following all these clues, and like I said, there's a lot of side missions. Like you try to help this guy get his wife's body back. She died in the first attack early on in the video game, and the Alliance is keeping her body from him because the weapons the Reapers use are very unique. And anyway, that one, I was like, and I tried to, because one of the things you can do in it is you can decide if you're going to be like you can decide if you're going to be charming or you're going to be more roguish. And I honestly wasn't trying to pick one or the other, so I had like skills from both sets, not to completion, unfortunately. So I tried to bully the Alliance bureaucrat who was responsible for this, because I thought this was just absolutely disgusting. Didn't work. They refused, and I didn't see what happened later. But anyway, so as you're Shepard with your team, you're going through. And you're trying to catch up with Saren. At one point, because at first no one is believing you that all this is going on, and so you have to find proof. Well, then you find proof and you bring it to the council, and then and they don't want to. They even backstab the original commanding officer. You're on the ship called the Normandy, and you have a great relationship with the pilot, whose nickname is Joker. He's voiced by Seth Green, which was really cool. I used to not care for Seth Green, but I like him in things like Heroes and this video game. I think he does a great job with that. Anyway, so you're traveling along, and then you get to you find proof. Then the council backstabs Anderson, so then you become the commanding officer of the Normandy. You go on a few more go on a few more adventures. You get clues, and at one point they try to ground you, but then you go off to where Saren is, and you manage to partially stop what he's doing, but then he attacks the council, and a whole bunch of other stuff happens. Rex ends up getting murdered by Ashley, and I actually, because at one point you have to decide who you're going to leave behind in your crew, whether it was Caden or Ashley. Now, before Ashley murdered Rex, I would have stranded Caden, because he was a totally useless character. But then when she backstabbed Rex, I left her instead, which was kind of funny. And then you can do the same thing later in the council. You have this big battle. You take on Saren, who gets possessed by the Reapers. And then you can decide whether to save the council or stop Saren's ship, because you can't do both. So I chose to sacrifice the council, because anyone who knows me knows I'm a big fan of limited government. And so you save the day, and Captain Anderson becomes a new member of the council as a result of all this. So that's how the game ends. Now, it's a third-person shooter, so that means you can still see your avatar, but you can still aim. As far as story, I really like the story. I thought it was good. If I could compare it, honestly, I can't really compare it, but it's kind of like a more serious version of Star Trek, I guess, is a good way to describe it. The story was fine. I thought it was great. I really liked the interactions between Garrus and Tali and your character. Later you get another character named Liara, and I really liked Liara. She's kind of like a scientist. I was advised by Scratimus not to get Liara until the end, and so I followed that advice. I didn't get her till the final level. And it's kind of funny because she thinks you're a ghost when you first appear, because she hasn't She hasn't been rescued for all this time, so you have to like convince her that you're not a ghost or a spy or something, and then she comes along. So story, I would say if I was to rate it, one being terrible, five being really good, I would rate it a four. I mean, it had some mechanics that need to work out. Some of the stuff I didn't really understand. I thought some of the political stuff in it was a little boring. But other than that, like I liked the story. So now let's talk about sort of the mechanics of it. So in the mechanics part, that was where I struggled a lot. It is not noob friendly. I had to really feel out some things, particularly when you had to solve like when you had to hack into things and you had to solve computer terminal type stuff. I really had a problem with that. One of the things that I struggled with a lot was you have this, when you hit a certain button, I played it on the PlayStation, all your weapons appear in front of you and you can decide which one you're going to carry. Well, I would pick the standard rifle because when it comes to firearms, I'm pretty basic. So I would pick that one, but then I'd go to another level and all of a sudden I'd have the sniper rifle. And I don't even remember messing with the sniper rifle. So I'm like, where did this come from? And so then I would have to go back into the menu, change it. Another difficult thing is at times I didn't know where to go. The radar was completely useless other than to tell you that enemies were approaching. That part of it was a little bad. I had trouble understanding that. Now, how you advance was really cool. They would give you points as you would accomplish certain things, and then you could increase all your character skill. You could only increase the skill of your squad who were active, but the other characters they carried over. So if say you earned 12 overall, and you're giving them your active squad 3 at a time. So I would play with Garrus and Tali, and then I wanted to bring in Rex. Well, I wasn't starting over from scratch with Rex. It accumulated all of them, so I was able to get him to how I wanted. So that was pretty cool. I did like that aspect of it. But yeah, it was not very noob friendly. I did struggle a lot with a lot of the mechanics of it early on. That if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5, I would definitely give it a 2, maybe even a 1. Like I said, what saved it was its point system. Also, you interacting with the characters. That was really cool, getting to talk to people, because you could choose your back talk to them, and you can make the conversation go. Or like I said, you could be more charming, or you could be more neutral, or you could be kind of like more tough on them. And like I said, I always just tried to answer how I would answer what was going on, so it would always kind of split up in the tree. Now, as for the characters, the human outside of Shepard and Joker, the human characters were totally worthless. I hated the ambassador, the human ambassador to the Alliance. He was a doofus. Honestly, if it had given me the option, if I could give him an early retirement, a permanent one, I would have probably taken it. I thought he was a totally bad character, which that's what he's supposed to be, right? He's kind of a weaselly, the ambassador is kind of a weaselly character. Captain Anderson, didn't really like him that much. Now, when you get to the alien characters, I already talked about Ashley and Caden, so I'll leave that alone. But Garrus was awesome. I loved Garrus. He was my favorite. And I actually found out that that's kind of a normal thing in Mass Effect. He's kind of considered one of the best characters. Talia was definitely my second favorite. I liked how you could customize Shepard. That was really cool. I thought that was a great aspect of it. I think by the end of it, I had the snow camouflage costume, because I just thought it was cool. That was really the only reason. At times, I did think the weapon upgrades got a little long. So overall, I would say that I had a decent experience. I think if they had made the game less complicated for noobs like myself, I think I would have enjoyed it a little better. One thing I will say, some of the conversations did drag on a little bit. I was kind of like, okay, I get the point. Let's end this. And like I said, I did some of the side missions, not a whole lot of them. Those were pretty cool. They added points to your thing. That's why I did it. Like I said, I wish. I honestly, part of me, I'm glad I took Stratimus's advice and didn't get Liara to the end because she was great in the final battle. But also, I kind of wish that I had had her early on because I think that I would have swapped her out with Tally or Garrus more often. Because Rex, I think, only swapped out with Garrus twice. I kept Tally pretty much the whole time. Oh no, no, I take that back. One time I did Garrus and Rex. I did Garrus and Rex for one side mission, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, so I would say overall. Now, if I was to rate my experience, I would say I won't. I would say maybe 3.5 because I like the story. I like the main character. I like just the missions. I liked the side characters minus a couple, but the game's complications, their complicated mechanics, made it really hard for me. Now, please keep in mind, again, this is my third time I'm mentioning this. I'm a total newbie when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm not a huge gamer by any stretch. I don't stream my gamings. I primarily talk. I mean, I mentioned, you know, what I talked earlier. You don't need to know all that. You can visit my website to figure out what I talk about mostly. But I'm just saying, if I was to do it again, I would try to go in with, which I think you can on the Legendary Edition. I would try to go in with Shepard as he is, so it could be a little bit easier. Because for me, and this is just me, I like challenging games, but if they get so challenging that I get frustrated, I don't want to play them. I have to walk away. And that includes my favorite game, which is Spider-Man for the PlayStation, the PS4 one that came out recently, and they just released it on PC, or an updated version for PC. There were times when I would get so frustrated that I wouldn't play it for like 3 days, and then I would try again. But yeah, if it gets to the point where it's not fun anymore, I don't want to play it. And there were definitely pockets of moments in Mass Effect where it got so complicated I didn't want to play it anymore. And now, and also too, the animation of it, and animation is a big deal to me, is their eyes sometimes made it look like it was kind of going into Uncanny Valley areas. Their eyes would barely blink, so they would just be looking at you unstaring, and then, like I said, occasionally they would blink. So that part of it was sometimes unnerving. That's a minor thing, though. So anyway, that's kind of how it feels. So I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And whatnot. I'm moving on to Mass Effect 2. Like I said, this is going to be a 3-part series. So I'll do Mass Effect 2. So you'll see that in a couple of weeks. I'll be talking about a few other things, and we're going to see where this goes. If you would like me to review more video games, let me know in the comments below. I probably won't take as many suggestions on the video games because, unlike when it comes to movies or anime, I know the allotted time space that it's going to take out of my life. But with video games, I'm not always sure. So if you were like, hey, could you review a game you've already played? Sure, I'll be happy to do that. But I probably won't take as many suggestions. I'm doing this for Stratimus because, like I said, he's a really good friend of mine, and he took money out of his own pocket to buy me this game and to send it to me. So I thank him for that, and I want to thank him for the experience. Overall, I enjoyed it. Just a few hang-ups on the mechanics and the Uncanny Valley eyes, a few other things, but overall, I had a good time with it, and I'm excited to see what's next in Mass Effect Part 2. If you liked that video, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Give it a thumbs up, and I would be honored today if you would subscribe. No matter what platform you're watching on, please subscribe, hit that follow button, share it out all over the place, and check me out on some of my other socials. I've got links in the description below. Also, check out my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, and consider supporting this channel on StudioJakeMedia.locals.com. It really helps smaller creators out. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.